There's no one in the front row. It's funny because one of the books that I've been writing is a guru that channels somebody that's got Tourette's syndrome and spits on everybody, so nobody sits in the front row. And tonight's topic was is called, I've forgotten what that was, the red pill cure. And what I wanted to look at with that was our bodies and medication and supplements and surgery and anything to do with the Western, Eastern medical sort of paradigms and how that may be locking us up and locking our bodies up and stopping us from being able to, or limiting us from being able to have more communion with our body and with the planet. It seems to get larger and larger the more I talk about this, and with all of us in this room. How you doing? Cool. I've got no idea what I'm going to talk about. So a little bit about my story, I guess, to start off with is I had a disease called ulcerative colitis, which is a real pain in the ass. And if you know what ulcerative colitis is, you'll get the joke. It's a lot of shitting and bleeding into the toilet. So it wasn't very pleasant. And at one stage there I was down to under 40 kilos. And I had a doctor come and visit me. I was on a health retreat, which was funny because I was dying. And the guy there got Simona, who was my wife at the time, and she said, "Oh, the doctor just told me you've got 24 hours to live if you don't have some sort of medical intervention." And I had had the point of view that I could beat this without any medical intervention. Well, as you all know, your point of view creates your reality, and what you resist seems to persist. So I had this point of view that I could beat it without it, and I had got down to 40 kilos or less at that stage. And then Simone said, "Okay, so the doctor's just talked to me and you've got 24 hours to live. What are you going to choose? If you choose life, I'll stick around and help you. And if you choose to die now, I'm gone." So I sat there, and of course there were lots of tears and lots of laughing and funny, I don't know why. And then I chose. But what I'm really grateful for is that Simone showed me in her allowance of her that I had a different choice. She was choosing for her. She didn't want to go through all of that watching me in the last 24 hours with her. And but she was, in that allowance, she allowed me to have a different choice. And I suddenly went, "Oh wow, this is cool. Okay, well, I'm going to choose something different." So it's about asking the question. So when you ask the question, it always opens up a possibility. Even if you choose to go against it, it still opens up possibilities. And that's what, from my point of view, is what really created a greater sense of, I wouldn't say I've got communion with my body, but a greater connection with my body. Well, what if disease was not a wrongness? What if we could change, what if we could have ease with disease? What if we could have ease with medication? What if we could have ease with doctors? What if we could have ease when we walk into a hospital rather than going, "Oh my God, the energy here"? What if we could go, this is interesting. This is an interesting point of view. And stay in that interesting point of view. So that's one of the tools that I'd like to give for the video is when we are going to the doctors and the lawyers and the medical professions and the therapists, and instead of giving all of your energy away to that person and asking John Keys, the Prime Minister, to look after your financial situation, or Dr. Doolittle or whoever, Dr. X, to look after your body, What if you were to go in there with, and everything they say is just an interesting point of view, so you don't get sucked into the rightness or the wrongness, or the positive or the negative. So that's quite an easy tool to use. So while you're sitting there and the doctor's just said you've got to go on warfarin, which is a blood thinner, which is rat poison, okay, then you can be going, interesting point of view. Now, you don't have to say that to the doctor, you just have to think it for you. It's a tool for you. Because if you say, that's an interesting point of view, it's sort of like, you got. It's resistance and reaction. And he'll take that as a resistance and reaction. And then he'll close down the energy, and he will not be able to contribute to you anymore, because this whole reality is about, and healing is about what's wrong. It's about cancer, what's wrong. It's about going to the doctor. Do you go to the doctor and say, "Hi doc, just thought I'd drop in because I'm feeling so great"? No. You go to the doctor and you go, "Something is wrong with me, can you fix me?" You go to a therapist because there's something wrong with you. You go to have a massage because you've already decided that you're stressed out and that you need a massage. Not because you've asked your body, not because you want to contribute to your life and your well-being and your body and the whole of the planet, but because you've already decided that you're stressed or whatever it is. So anywhere where you've done that, anywhere where you've brought this reality of healing, of whether it's right or whether it's wrong, would you now be willing to destroy and uncreate it all? One of the things that I do with bodies. And then to finish off that story, because it's got a nice ending, one day she got on the table and she was being bigger than I was. And I went, holy moly, now I've got to expand. So what if you, by you having a session, you actually change the reality of the therapist? What if you, by having a session, it's a contribution to the planet? So that's a really great question. What's possible now that wasn't possible before? Because what you're doing with that question is you're opening up to infinite possibilities, which is big, yeah? More possibilities. So everywhere where you have decided, that there are no more possibilities, does that feel light or does that feel heavy? Heavy. Heavy as hell, yeah? So it's a lie for you. So would you be willing to destroy and uncreate everywhere where you have perpetrated that lie on yourself?
Yeah.